Alright, so here's my workaround to get this gear and sleeve assembly out. I set up my plates to support the end of the cone pulley, and the gear is now clearing this. And then I took a rod, and I've got that rod just on the edge, the inside edge of that sleeve. So it's not ideal. I'm not pushing on the thing perfectly straight, but I've already moved it, and it's moving actually pretty freely. So that press fit is nowhere near as tight as I was worried about it being. This is actually coming right out. Not much resistance at all. And I might have been able to even get away with doing this in the arbor press, but I'd have to take the plate off the bottom, and then I'm still not quite sure if this would clear the legs on the arbor press. Plus, I don't have the arbor press on a stand, so not really. This is actually better for this particular job. Alright, I might be running out of. Yeah, I think I'm going to hit the side of the pulley with the ram here, maybe. Nope, cleared it. So this is, I can feel already that this is keyed. There's a piece of key stock in there, so that's why this isn't a really tight fit. It's not a really tight press because it doesn't need to be, because it's using a piece of key stock to keep this lined up and turning. Oh, now I'm hitting the other one, the other sleeve inside there. So I'm gonna have to stop there and get along the rod. That's not that much longer. I'm just gonna have to stop again. Let's see, find something longer than that even. All right, let's try this again. Guess I will use this one. Seems like every other rod that I grabbed was too large. This is going to be just a little too tall. Oh, come on. Well, it's been a few days since I've been down here in the basement shop, and I've been doing some research about the subject regarding this mystery I kind of had here going with this material I pulled out of here. And I found a lot of really good information. Apparently this was common practice back in the day, and in many of the situations that I found where the use of a felt material behind an oil groove in this fashion, many of the references I found regarding that were actually in writings in some of the old machinist periodicals that were basically helpful tips and hints and things that were sent in by actual machinists who had modified or made modifications in the field. So I guess it in some cases the oil groove was present, but this whole idea of putting having a place behind it to put felt may have been an afterthought. Now, whether or not this is original to this lathe or not, I don't know. And then, of course, the material that goes in there, I guess years ago, it wasn't uncommon for them to use something described as, I forget what it's called, not scrap wool, but basically it would be, I guess, like the leftover or the byproduct of maybe the process of shearing sheep or something. I don't know. forget the name of it, but basically it was just wool fibers, which is a lot like what I pulled out of there. And then the other item that would be used would be felt. And lo and behold, after doing a little more research, I found out, sure enough, there is a product called felt cord, which is basically it's a string, it's a cord shaped felt material. And so far I found a couple of sources on the internet that were just kind of crazy what they wanted for it, and then of course McMaster Carr had it listed in several sizes, and it's sold in 5-foot lengths. So I just happened to try this, and this is just under a 1/4 inch, which makes sense because when I put that felt in there, I'm going to want that felt to be kind of tight in there so that it kind of squeezes out into this oil groove some. So I think 1/4 inch is what I want to use in this situation. So I'm gonna just double check with one of my local supply houses, because he had mentioned he had some cording, and I forgot what size he said he had, and I originally thought I needed 3/8, but I just came down here and measured this now, and I need 1/4 inch. So either way, that kind of puts me at a standstill as far as reassembly of the headstock goes, because I can't put this back together until I put the replacement cord in there. So I think I'm going to change gears. No, I'm going to switch things up a bit, and I'm going to go to work on the apron. Whew, I just put this apron, the Vernon lathe, up here on the table so I could work on it, and I gotta tell you, that's a heavy apron. That's quite a bit heavier than that old 16-inch South bend that I just took apart. You know, the design is quite a bit different too. On the South bend, basically, it's you know, you've got the front apron part here, and all the parts are basically attached to that, and there's not much else really going on. Whereas this one here, you've got this whole other assembly that acts as the 2 slices of bread to sandwich all of your gears and workings inside of there. So so much beefier design, sort of like the double wall apron or safety apron design, as it was sometimes referred to on the Hendy. But it's actually been such a while since I worked on the Hendy, I don't remember exactly what that one looked like. But I got a feeling this is very close to that design. So of course there's all kinds of crud and junk that's fallen down in here over the years, and it's not really effective for me to just throw this in the parts washer and try and wash this. I mean, I can clean this outside area here, but there's going to be a lot of stuff down inside there that's just not going to get clean that way. So I think the best move for me at this point is going to be to actually remove this section right here. Now I'm looking at this right now, and I'm seeing lots of interesting features to this, which I don't think, let's see if I can get this to stand up better. Alright, so I tightened up the shot here so you can get a better feel for how some of this works. You can see here's an oil tube right here that goes to a oil hole somewhere on the front of the apron, and then the oil would drip out here, and then it drips into this little groove right here, which has some seeds in it. Some critter brought some seeds inside this lathe. It looks like, I don't know if it pools there or if it drops down there and lubricates something inside here, but it definitely is supposed to propagate along this trough right here, and then I guess fill in this well, and then drop oil down this hole to oil this shaft here. You know, now that I look at this though, I'm thinking this might be a spot where felt should be. I'm not sure. Well, maybe not. There's another one on this side, fed by this tube. So you get this tube here, just drips oil on this gear. This tube here brings oil into this well and spills it down in there. Alright, so that's the one that's going to oil this worm gear. This tube here puts oil directly on this worm gear. Oh, this, I bet you right here. Okay, there's an oiler, looks like a git oiler on top here, one of the ball type ones. Looks like you pump oil into there, it's going to lubricate this shaft for this gear that meshes with the rack. No, sorry, that meshes with the that's the cross feed drive, but it's going to lubricate the shaft for this, and then some of the oil is going to come out the end of the shaft here and run down right here and lubricate this worm gear. This worm gear on this side, this large one, this is, or this larger tooth one, that's just drip irrigated here, and then the bearing surface for this one is lubricated with this little tube here. That's really kind of neat, the little detail they've got, getting oil into all of these little spots. But for now, let's look at getting this apart to clean it. So it looks straightforward enough. I see several large screws. I'm going to use my nice ball drive screwdriver. If they're not overly, if they're not overly tight, should be able to get them out with this. Alright, that looks like all the screws. That doesn't necessarily mean that's just going to pop apart. There's always the possibility that there's something I'm missing. So I'm going to go real easy with my prying over here. Pretty straightforward. Look at all these seeds. Well, I can see where the oil eventually collects after it's getting done doing its work. Lots of oil down in there. Put that right in the parts cleaner. This is an interesting looking clutch deal here. I don't really have a need to take this apart any further than this right here. I can clean all of this pretty effectively in the parts cleaner now that I have it in two halves. And I think rather than tempt fate and start trying to take some of these gears out for no good reason, I'm going to leave it be. Especially since from what I can see here, I don't see my initial inspection here, I don't see anything broken, which is nice. Unlike the apron on that 16-inch south bin that had some chipped teeth and stuff in it. Yeah, it's looking pretty nice actually. Alright, so the inner half of the apron turned out. I mean, it's not spotless. My intention wasn't to clean this down to the point like, say, when I want to paint something. This is just to wash out any swarf and chips that might have been stuck anywhere, and also any grease that might have been inappropriately applied to some of these surfaces. Here's a little piece of swarf. Wasn't actually that much in there. It was mostly just dirt and old oil and looked like maybe some grease too. One of these was binding up a little bit at one point. They seem okay now though. Yeah, that seems okay. Alright. Still a lot of swarf and garbage inside this half of the apron, but it's all down below now. It's washed off of the gears from what I can see. Now with this gear nice and clean, I can give it a good once over, and I'm happy to report that there are no damaged teeth on this gear. This part of the gear right here, no chips or breaks, but can't tell if that's wear. Actually, I think maybe by design that these teeth are almost like tapered, which might make sense because that's this this part right here, which I can't get to go. Oh, this is moving around on its own. Engage and disengage this. Funny that gear doesn't want to come out. Well, like I said, I really don't need to take that gear out. So, since I can't think of a good reason to take it out right now, I'm going to leave it alone. Oh, there's some garbage stuck in those teeth. I guess I'll get a little more, a little bit more picky about cleaning that out. Maybe with that rag. Probably not even any point to cleaning out this area where I'm cleaning out. This is the very end of the teeth, where they come shallow, where the cutter that originally made the teeth started to reach the end point. It's probably why it's so full of garbage, because they probably never get, that part of the tooth never comes in contact with anything more than likely. Kind of like having a scab that you just can't resist to pick. I already figured out I really don't need to clean these out, but I'm gonna do it. Even though it means I'm probably gonna have to schlepp this thing right back into the parts washer again. Yeah, I got the heavy stuff out. Some of it fell out on the in this area here, and oh, does this come out the back? Alright, it can't go out that way because there's a piece of key stock in there that actually engages. And it locks this shaft to the gear here. So it can't come out. Can't go out this way. It would have to go out this way. Not quite sure why it's stopping right there though. I don't like what it's doing to this copper pipe right here, this oil pipe. That's what's stopping it from coming out, this oil pipe right here. And I'm not going to take that oil pipe out or bend it, so I just leave it. Alright, that second washing definitely did the trick, especially on this gear here. It's looking really good. I got most everything out from the bottom there. I've got to set this up so that it's tilted down so it can drain, and I'm just going to leave it draining overnight. It's getting late.